Hey guys, this is Coach Carly, and you're watching Bull Time. Well, as you've seen from our posting on Instagram and YouTube, we have a lot of videos coming at you recently. As I stated in the Strongman video and in April of 2022, I finally had some time. So I made sure to catch up on everything because I wanted to make sure everyone was highlighted. And yeah, so that's why we're here. Somewhat of an outfit change, as you can tell. I have a hat and a different Red Bull. Yes, I did drink all three of them, so sorry, Mom. So yeah, we're gonna highlight May of 2022. Holy shit, what, May of 22 for powerlifters. I wanna make that clear. So as I stated in the March Bull Time for the Strongman, we're gonna make individual segments for our individual sports, just so that way it doesn't get muddled amongst all the powerlifting that we've been doing. So yeah, holy shit, this was another pretty incredible month. I'm not gonna lie. This was a hell of a competition for the three gentlemen that competed this month. First up, we had Jesse Law. Jesse and I started working together, I think almost about a year. I think it was 10 months before this meet. And so we were supposed to compete in, I think, September, then maybe November, and then maybe January, and things just got pushed off until May. So here we are talking about May. Progress was pretty insane. Things just took off for him. We had to do a lot of fixing, and we're still doing fixing, and he'll say that as well. We're still doing some fixing on the squat. His squat is just not fluid. It's not bad, it's just not fluid. And that happens. I'm not upset by it by any stretch of the means, just shit happens. Like, it is what it is, it's not fluid, and we try to make it fluid. So. And all we can do is keep working at it, try to dial in, pick exercises that are going to make sure that he's working on those things. So that's a little bit more geared towards what we're trying to do with his training now. He, in the meet, he was, I think what a lot of people learn, especially when they're first starting off, this was his second meet, you need to compete a little bit more. And I don't mean like compete like every 2 months, because that's not smart either. But when you go a long time and you've only competed once, regardless of what you do in training, whether it's to competition standards or whether it's, a little bit looser, you're gonna get a pretty big awakening of like when you step on that platform and things are judged a certain way. Longer start commands. A little bit more strict, depending on where you go. A little bit more strict on squats. So I think we experienced a little bit of that. Again, not a big deal. Missed the second and the third. Missed the second one because he fell forward. It was a weird thing because he's never had this upper back issue, and then all of a sudden at the meet, his upper back just couldn't stay tight under the squat bar. So whether that's using a different bar in training or whether that's using a little bit grippier or, the rack's a little bit different, again, all those small little details that maybe you're not necessarily getting or have the experience with dealing with when you go from training to competition, from having, only one other meet under your belt. So that is what it is. But then he had the rest of the day was cruising. And then, on his third squat, he had a 2-to-1 no lift. They called him on depth. Tough call. I think if he didn't fall forward on the second one, his depth was the same, and I'm pretty sure he would have got white lights, but it is what it is. You take the day with the punches and you kind of just roll with it. And then he went 3 for 3 on bench and then 3 for 3 on squat. A little bit of things we were working on that kind of just were mind blown in a good way. He just straight up like didn't have any of the issues, like grip issues a little bit on deadlift, a little bit of losing tightness on the bench, and when we got to the meet, literally none of that happened. It was kind of actually funny. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, like, you know, all these things that we worked on in the meet and nothing of that like actually happened. So crushed it. Had an 78% of the lifts were completed and had an 87.5 kilo total PR. So kind of crazy. Second meet, insane progress. So really, really, really happy about it. And then next up we had Mr. Joey Iliardi and Mr. Kev Drury. Kev is also our cameraman, so I got to give him a little bit of shout out. He does all of our camera photos for photography, I should say, for all of our meets that we run here at the gym. So if you're ever looking for professional camera pictures at a meet, this guy is your guy. So first up we had Joey. It was a 2-day meet. Joey competed on Saturday, Kev competed on Sunday. This was my first meet with, I think, both of them actually, ironically enough, and I've been working with Kev since 2018, and I'll kind of get to that in a little bit. Joey and I have been working together about since December, January. He was running the Juggernaut AI and just needed a little bit more direction. His lifts were great in training. Like, he executed everything perfectly. Really had a good response to like what we were trying to do, and that was awesome. He really, you know, dialed in. Kind of interesting. He literally would lift Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, and it is what it is. You know, some people need it. Some people like to get it on the weekends. But he was super consistent every Monday through Friday, getting in his lifts and having a weekend off. He liked it. It worked well. It wasn't like it affected training at all. So yeah, really good day. Again, second meet. So we really dialed in on the commands, the technical stuff, you know, maybe sandbagging a little bit, but I don't even really think so. I think we made the right attempt calls on everything. Maybe the deadlift had like 2.5 more kilos, but went 9 for 9, had a 57.5 kilo total PR, finally deadlifted 400 on the platform, which I think was a really big, event and day, moment for him in that way. He was super, it was awesome to see his brother and his friends just really get behind him and cheering for him. And that was a really cool moment to see everything come together for him, and I know he really appreciated it. So that was super cool to see him go 57.5 kilo total PR, second meet, and hopefully we'll be doing something in October at some point, so we'll see what happens. And then next up we had Kev. So I'm gonna try to make this brief for Kev. But Kev and I have been working together since 2018. So if you think about where we are in May of 2022, we essentially started working together May of 2018 when he graduated, I believe. And life happens, right? I mean, we, between life events, finding a new job, school, COVID, and all of these things that just piled on top of us not being able to find a meet. And it just really sucked, and it's hard to stay motivated when all that shit happens, right? Like one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, just kind of pile on top. And regardless of how training's going, it can be extremely demotivating, right? Like, especially if things are kind of out of your control. We were supposed to compete, I believe it was like July of 2020, and like training was just so good, and couldn't do anything about it. So that really sucked, but his meet didn't. His meet was absolutely incredible. He went 9 for 9 for the first time. This was his fifth meet, first with me, and he had a 32.5 kilo total PR. Like, what the fuck? Like, you can't really. And he accomplished something that he really wanted to. Goal number 1, 9 for 9. Goal number 2 was going for 700 kilo total, even if that meant like keeping a little bit in reserve, which I think we did. Probably in total, maybe had about another 20 to 25 kilos on that. Maybe even more, maybe have 30 kilos, because that squat was super easy. Things just worked. He peaked really well, really well. Just all the lifts became effortless on the platform, and that's huge. Weights that he either 5 kilos above, 5 kilos below, or the same, and just absolutely smashed it. So super happy with how he did, and he just deserved it with everything that has transpired over the last 4 years. He really needed this, and I'm really happy that I could be a part of that big day for him. So, yeah, that was May. Next month we got the big stuff. The big stuff is happening in June. It's going to be a lot of national events. Teams are looking a little smaller than originally anticipated going into USAPL Meganats. But yeah, we have committed a women's open team, a women's masters team. We've had a couple people drop out due to unforeseen circumstances, which, it is what it is. Shit happens, and all we can do is get better and go from there. So I'm super excited for June, and hopefully I get this video out to you within a month of that happening, so that way it's not too long. But yeah, so we'll see you guys soon, and that was Bowl Time May of 2022 for the Powerlifters.